video, we're gonna focus on chi-square test. Okay, we're gonna focus on chi-square test and the calculation on chi-square. All right, but before we continue, let's start with definition of chi-square. Please take a definition, please. Chi-square test is used to compare observed frequencies in each category. Chi-square test is used to compare observed frequencies in each categories to the expected frequencies in a contingency table. The expected frequency in a contingency table. Okay, now in case you don't understand the definition here, this is what it's saying. Whenever you have a table in terms of chi-square, that table is said to be contingency table. So in a contingency table, that is the table for chi-square. In a contingency table, any value that is in a contingency table is known as observed frequency. Any value or any number that is in the contingency table is known as observed frequencies. While each of the observed frequency, there is an expected frequencies. Each of the observed frequency, there is an expected frequency. Okay, now we are going to consider that later. All you just have to do to get the full video here is to hit the subscribe button. Very important. Okay, you are benefiting from this, so tap that button. Okay, now let's continue, please. Now we said that chi-square can be divided into two. Okay, please write chi-square can be divided into two. Chi-square can be divided, sorry for this, chi-square can be divided into two. Now let's consider the two aspects of chi-square. The two aspects of chi-square is one, the first one here, we say chi-square tab. The word tab there is said to be tabulated table. Okay, chi-square tab, or you can also call it chi-square critical. So either you call it chi-square tabulated tab or you call it chi-square critical. We use an S square to denote chi-square. We use S square to denote chi-square. Please take note. We use S square to denote chi-square. Okay. So the next one here in terms of chi-square is said to be chi-square CAC, or you can call it statistics. The next one is said to be chi-square CAC or statistics. Please take note of that. The next one is said to be chi-square CAC or statistics. So let's consider the first one here. Please write chi-square tab or critical. Chi-square CAC, the first one. Chi-square tab or critical. Let's consider the first one here, chi-square tab or critical. Now we are saying about chi-square tabulated or critical here. We are saying about chi-square calculated from the table. So how do we calculate chi-square from the table? How do we find chi-square from the table? Okay, I'm going to show us the table for chi-square and how to do that, but let's just take a note here to understand this perfectly. Okay, now please write chi-square tab is gotten from chi-square table, which I told you guys. Chi-square tab is gotten from chi-square table. Now the table here, in finding chi-square tab from the table, there are two things it depends on. So the format to know how to express this is chi-square tab the format here to calculate for chi-square tab is said to be this. That is, chi-square tab is equal to class chi-square alpha into degree of freedom. Please take note. That is chi-square alpha degree of freedom. Okay, now this alpha you are seeing here is said to be level of significance or test of independence. The level of significance, that is percentage given to you, we are going to consider that, while this df is degree of freedom. So that means chi-square tab depends on two things here. It depends on the level of significance and degree of freedom. And the formula for degree of freedom for chi-square, please take note of this. For chi-square is said to be rho minus 1 times column minus 1. Please take note. So this is the formula for degree of freedom for chi-square. So class, now let's know how to do this. If I'm giving, for example, if I'm giving alpha to be equal to 5%, in decimal point is the center at 0.05. please take note. So if the degree of freedom, which I'm going to tell us how to find it, is said to be 3, how do we now find the chi-square tab from the table? I'm going to show us how to calculate this later, but all you just have to do is to understand what I'm doing here. Under assumption, I'm assuming that if I'm giving alpha to be 5%, which is this in decimal point, and I'm giving degree of freedom to be 3, which is this. So how do I locate that in our table? So this is the table you have to use in terms of chi-square here. First of all, I'm calculating for 0.5. So I'll have to locate 0.5. So this is 0.5 here, class. Okay, so the word degree of freedom simply means serial number. This is the serial number of chi-square. Now why is this said to be chi-square? Look at it here. You can see the table here. It's indicating s square like this. So you are permitted to use this table in your exam. So if the degree of freedom is 3, this is 3, this 3 here. So this is our level of significance, which is you trace it here. There is 3 under 0.3 under 0.05. We have that to be, let me trace it. We have that to be 7.815. So the chi-square tab of this, from this assumption here, the chi-square tab from this assumption here is said to be 7.815. So this is how we calculate for chi-square tab. Okay, now I'll show us, or I'll in solving a particular question, I'll show us how to find the rho part and the coulomb part, and also the degree, the percentage will be given to you. That is the level of significance will be given to you in the question. The percentage will be given to you in the question. So the only thing here left is how to find degree of freedom. What you just have to do to get the full video here is to hit the subscribe button and get the full video for chi-square calculated. That is the next chi-square. Okay.